Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki is a best-selling book that explores the contrasting financial philosophies between two influential figures in Kiyosaki's life, his biological father, whom he calls Poor Dad, and the father of his best friend, whom Sabaya. Through these figures, Kiyosaki explains how the way we think about money, education, and investment can dramatically shape our financial destiny. The book emphasizes the importance of financial literacy and challenges conventional beliefs about wealth and career choices. Chapter 1. The Rich Don't Work for Money. In the first chapter of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki introduces one of the most pivotal lessons that sets the foundation for the entire book. The rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. This principle becomes the cornerstone of Kiyosaki's financial philosophy and contrasts the mindset between the rich and the poor or middle class. Kiyosaki begins by sharing the financial advice given by his poor dad, his biological father, and his rich dad, the father of his best friend. His poor dad, a highly educated man, believed in traditional values, working hard, getting a stable job, earning a good salary, and saving money. However, despite his good intentions, poor dad's approach kept him struggling financially throughout his life. He followed the conventional belief that job security and steady income were the keys to financial success. In contrast, Kiyosaki's rich dad, who had less formal education, but was a successful entrepreneur, offered a radically different perspective. He believed in building wealth by acquiring assets and making investments that would generate passive income. Instead of working for money, Rich Dad taught Kiyosaki to focus on creating and owning systems, like businesses and real estate, that would make money work for him. Rich Dad emphasized the idea that most people are stuck in a cycle known as the rat race, where they work hard, earn money, pay bills, and repeat this cycle until retirement. This cycle often leads people to feel trapped, as their expenses rise in proportion to their income, keeping them dependent on their jobs. Rich Dad believed that breaking free from the rat race required a different mindset, one focused on financial independence. He explained that most people work hard to make someone else rich, their employer, the government through taxes, or creditors through loans, whereas the rich focus on acquiring assets that increase in value and generate ongoing income, regardless of whether they are actively working. Rich Dad explained that the emotions of fear and greed control the financial decisions of the poor and middle class. Fear of not having enough money drives people to work hard and seek job security, while greed tempts them to spend any extra income on luxuries, believing that more money will solve their problem. These emotions keep people in a cycle where they are afraid to take risks or invest in assets, choosing instead to remain in the security of a paycheck. The more they earn, the more they spend, which prevents them from building wealth. Rich Dad pointed out that financial freedom comes from overcoming these emotional reactions and learning to make money work for you, not the other way around. Rich Dad's lesson was clear. While schools teach students how to earn money through careers and jobs, they don't teach them how to make money work for them through investments and financial management. This lack of financial education leaves most people stuck in the cycle of earning and spending. Rich Dad encouraged Kiyosaki to develop his financial IQ by learning about investing, entrepreneurship, and asset management. To illustrate the difference between working for money and making money work for you, Rich Dad gave young Kiyosaki and his friend a job at one of his stores. However, instead of paying them a salary, he had them work for free. The boys initially resisted, but Rich Dad explained that this was part of the lesson. By not relying on a paycheck, they were forced to think outside the box and learn how to create value in other ways. They eventually realized the importance of learning observation and identifying opportunities for passive income, such as investing in stocks or real estate. The key message of Chapter 1 is that financial independence is not about earning a higher salary, but about developing the mindset and skills to acquire assets and make money work for you. People should strive to break free from the fear-driven pursuit of job security and instead focus on building wealth through investments, financial education, and entrepreneurship. By adopting the mindset of Rich Dad, one focused on creating and acquiring assets rather than simply working for money, individuals can achieve financial freedom and stop being slaves to their jobs. This mindset shift is crucial for long-term wealth creation. Chapter 2. Why Teach Financial Literacy. In Chapter 2 of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki emphasizes the critical importance of financial literacy and the need for education in managing money effectively. This chapter addresses a key distinction between his rich dad and poor dad, understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Kiyosaki stresses that knowing how to manage money is the foundation for building wealth and achieving financial freedom. Kiyosaki begins by pointing out that traditional education focuses on teaching students how to earn money through careers, but not how to manage or grow that money. His poor dad, who followed this traditional path, believed that getting a good job, earning a stable income, and saving money were the keys to financial success. However, despite his academic achievements, poor dad often struggled financially because he lacked financial literacy. Rich Dad, on the other hand, emphasized that financial education is essential to building wealth. Taught Kiyosaki that schools don't teach students how to be rich, and that financial struggles come not from a lack of money, but from a lack of financial knowledge. People who lack financial literacy are often trapped in a cycle of working for money rather than having money work for them. Without understanding how to invest and grow wealth, even high earners can end up financially unstable. Rich Dad's first lesson in financial literacy was to teach Kiyosaki the importance of understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Kiyosaki explains that this is the foundation of financial education and the most crucial lesson anyone can learn about money. Assets are things that put money in your pocket. They generate income or appreciate in value over time. Examples include stocks, bonds, rental properties, and businesses. Liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. They create expenses and can drain your financial resources. Examples include mortgages, car loans, credit card debt, and personal loans. Rich Dad explained that the rich focus on acquiring assets, while the poor and middle class acquire liabilities that they mistakenly believe are assets, such as buying a home. Kiyosaki's poor dad, for example, considered his home an asset because he believed in homeownership as a path to financial stability. However, Rich Dad pointed out that a house is a liability if it requires monthly payments, taxes, and maintenance without generating income. Financial literacy is about understanding how to make assets grow and minimizing liabilities. People need to learn how to differentiate between what brings them wealth and what drains their wealth. One of the most common financial myths that Kiyosaki tackles in this chapter is the idea that homeownership is an investment that will make people rich. While owning a home can provide emotional security and a place to live, it is often a liability from a financial perspective. Many people spend their entire lives working to pay off a mortgage, believing that their home is their greatest asset. Rich Dad argued that unless a home is generating rental income or increasing substantially in value, it's not an asset, it's a liability. The real path to wealth is through investments that generate passive income. Kiyosaki advises people to focus on purchasing income-generating assets, such as rental properties, stocks, or businesses, rather than relying on homeownership as a financial strategy. In this chapter, Kiyosaki introduces the idea of cash flow patterns to illustrate the differences between how the rich and the poor manage money. The poor and middle class typically work for money through a job and use that income to pay for their liabilities, such as mortgages, car loans, and other debts. Because their money is being used to cover liabilities, they have little or no money left to invest in assets. This keeps them in a cycle of earning and spending, with limited opportunities to build wealth. The rich, on the other hand, use their money to acquire assets that generate income. These assets then pay for their liabilities, allowing the rich to maintain a positive cash flow and continue growing their wealth. By focusing on acquiring assets that provide passive income, the rich make their money work for them rather than relying on a paycheck. To build wealth, one must adopt the cash flow pattern of the rich, where income from assets is used to cover expenses and liabilities. This is a major component of financial literacy, knowing how to direct your income to productive investments rather than liabilities. Kiyosaki stresses that building wealth isn't about how much money you make, but how well you understand and manage money. Many high-income earners, such as doctors or lawyers, may still struggle financially because they have high expenses and liabilities. But without financial literacy, people often find themselves in debt despite earning significant salaries. Rich Dad taught Kiyosaki that financial independence comes from learning how to make smart investment decisions, not just earning more money. He explained that true wealth is measured by the ability to generate income from assets and investments, regardless of whether you are working. Chapter 2. Kiyosaki introduces the concept of personal financial statements, which are tools used to evaluate your financial health. He explains that financial literacy requires a basic understanding of these two key financial documents. This document shows how much money you are earning, income, versus how much you are spending, expenses. It is a summary of the cash flow in and out of your pocket. This shows your assets, what you own, and your liabilities, what you owe. Your goal should be to have more assets than liabilities to maintain a healthy financial situation. By understanding and monitoring these two financial documents, you can track whether you are building wealth or falling into debt. Financial literacy is not just about earning more money, but also about understanding how to evaluate and improve your financial health. Learning how to read and manage your income statement and balance sheet will help you make better financial decisions. The central message of Chapter 2 is that financial literacy is essential for building wealth. Schools do not teach students how to manage money, which leaves many people financially illiterate. Without financial education, individuals are likely to fall into the trap of acquiring liabilities instead of assets, which can lead to financial struggles. Kiyosaki's Rich Dad encouraged him to focus on acquiring assets, minimizing liabilities, and understanding financial concepts such as cash flow, assets, liabilities, and financial statements. By learning these key principles, anyone can begin their journey toward financial independence and long-term wealth. The opening chapters of Rich Dad, Poor Dad introduce some powerful concepts that challenge conventional thinking about money. Kiyosaki's Rich Dad taught him that the wealthy don't work for money, money works for them. By focusing on acquiring assets and minimizing liabilities, you can begin to build real financial independence. Schools may not teach these essential lessons about money, but through the insights in this book, you can begin your journey toward financial literacy and long-term wealth. Stay tuned to real deep understanding as we explore more from Kiyosaki's groundbreaking ideas and how they can change the way you approach your financial future.